This deck is so dumb. This is so stupid. Oh my gosh. This is the worst deck I've ever played in my life. A few weeks ago, I watched a video on Team Yada-Locked, and they were playing an Exodia deck very different from Exodia decks that I've seen in the past. This deck is pretty crazy. It's also pretty toxic, if I'm being honest. It's probably one of the dumbest combos I've ever seen get used to actually draw into Exodia. Basically, instead of trying to turbo into Exodia like some of the deep draw Exodia decks that I've played on the channel in the past, this deck aims to summon one annoying monster that the opponent can't deal with, and then you just pass to your opponent like 30 turns in a row before you draw into the Exodia pieces. Now in that video, Yada-Locked did not post his actual deck list, but I was able to pretty easily recreate at least like 30 or so cards in the deck, and then I had to kind of fill out the final 10 cards. He did eventually send me his list. It's not too far off from what I came up with, but it is a bit different. He plays a few other tech choices that I didn't try out. How this works is you have number 59, Crooked Cook. Now this is an older rank 4 monster, and the main effect that we care about here is the one that says, while you control no other cards on the field, this card is unaffected by other cards' effects. Now by itself, that is a pretty annoying monster to deal with, but where this gets really silly is with Right Hand Shark and Astral Karibo. So these two cards basically do the same thing, but they combo with different cards in the deck. Pretty much what you care about is that with Right Hand Shark and Astral Karibo, when they are used as material for the Crooked Cook, it makes the Crooked Cook unable to be destroyed by battle. Now the Right Hand Shark is a little bit more restrictive. You do have to only use water Xyz materials for the Crooked Cook summon, but that doesn't really matter. There's actually some really good fish support out there right now that helps out this combo. You have cards like Buzzsaw Shark that can special summon the Right Hand Shark right from the deck. You have Beautiful Princess, which can special summon the Buzzsaw Shark, and you have a new map card that can search the Beautiful Princess. Now I will mention here, at the moment of filming this video, Right Hand Shark, Astral Karibo, and the map are all in the OCG only. However, what makes this deck really cool is that next week in Brothers of Legend, all 3 of these cards are getting released. So in 1 week from the time of posting this video, this deck actually will be legal in the TCG. And this deck is absolutely hilarious. Now there are outs to this card. You could kaiju it, you could use Underworld Goddess to get rid of it as well, but beyond that, you don't always have to out it to win the game. For example, if your deck has burn effects, you could win by that. If your deck has attacking directly effects, you could win by doing that over a few turns, or if your deck has piercing battle damage, you could win that way as well. So the combo is not perfect, it is not unbeatable, and if you took it to a tournament, I don't know how many matches you would realistically win. However, when you play this deck online and you only play best of ones, so there's no side decking, this deck gets really stupid. It is very consistent, it has a lot of different options to get to the combo on turn 1, and you even have some going second cards in your deck. I think this is honestly one of the best Exodia decks I've played in a while, and it's a combo that is pretty darn funny to pull off. Here is the deck list, by the way, if you guys want to check it out before the gameplay. We have 3 copies of Right Hand Shark, 3 copies of Astral Karibo, 3 copies of the Princess, 3 copies of Buzzsaw Shark, 3 copies of Silent Angler, 1 copy each of the Exodia pieces, 3 copies of the map, 3 copies of Ready Fusion, 1 copy of Instant Fusion, 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance, which could be Pot of Prosperity if I'm being honest. For going second cards, we do have 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 3 copies of Mystic Mine, and then some Saki one-ofs. We have 1 Day of Peace, Upstart Goblin, 1 for 1 to get to the Princess, and 1 copy of Final Countdown. So this deck has 3 different win conditions. It has Exodia, it has Final Countdown, and you could potentially deck out your opponent if you draw these cards too late in the game. Overall, this deck is really fun to play. It's not a deck that you would probably play for too long because once you see the combo a few times, you kind of understand how the deck wins, but it is really cool, and I think that whoever came up with this deck, I don't know if it was Yada-Locked or someone else, did a really good job. It is a lock that is not impossible to deal with, but pretty hard for the average deck to beat. I will say that this format is not the best format for this deck if you really wanted to take this deck to a tournament. Lyrilisc, Drytron, and Sword Soul Soul all have ways to win the game without outing this card. Sword Soul can just burn you a bunch of times with the Sword Soul Strategist, and the Lyrilisc and Drytron decks do have a rank 1 monster that can attack you directly. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend playing this at a real tournament right now, but it is a deck that is really good against the average rogue deck out there, and a lot of the other meta decks actually don't have outs for this lock. But a few of the top decks do, and that's why I can't necessarily recommend it for competition at the moment. Regardless, I actually did manage to win basically every game on stream last night with this deck, other than one game at the very end that I scooped because my opponent had no extra deck and I felt bad for using this combo. But all of the games that I actually played, I did manage to win. It was pretty hilarious. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay in today's video. I think that most opponents are just gonna leave. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna let us get Exodia. Let's see how this deck goes. Like I said, I don't think people are actually gonna like sit here and watch me do this. Oh, guess what? We can't out an entire Drytron board. Oh wait, what? I have seen that combo though. That's pretty cool. Despia, okay. Or is that just to make Baron? Probably. Oh, what? Condemned Darkboard. Interesting. Now I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. This is kind of crazy though. Oh. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, anyway. I guess we just have the combo right here. The deck always opens the combo. I mean, you just activate this, you target itself, summon the right-hand shark, and then you just win, I guess? This is so dumb. Oh my gosh. And then we just pass? What do we do in our spare time? No, like really, like what do we do? This is gonna take like 30 turns to Exodia. What do we do? That's not gonna work. Oh man, yeah, it's just crazy that you can't attack it either. This combo is so dumb. Oh my gosh. No one's gonna sit through this. There's no way. I cannot believe that people would sit through this. This is hilarious though. Oh my gosh. Like, clearly it loses to, like, any kaiju monster. Like, you can just win the game immediately if you kaiju this card, because when they're playing this combo, they can't put anything on the board as, like, backup. So, like, this is their entire deck. It needs draw power. Okay, so the problem is with draw power, if you play a card on the field, once you have the Crooked Crook on the board, then your opponent can respond. Maybe add Final Countdown as an alternate win condition. That's a good idea. That is a very good idea. Yeah, let's add Final Countdown. Just to give us like another card to draw into. Yeah, how many turns do you think our opponent is gonna put up with this, by the way? I'm guessing like 10 maybe? Like if he doesn't have a kaiju, he loses. What are some other cards that can out this? I don't even know. I can only really think of kaijus. Yeah, he could do piercing battle damage as well, but not many decks have piercing battle damage. Dark Ruler does not work, no. I deserve that. However, I will say, if he can't OTK us, we actually still have another Crooked Crook on our turn here. So maybe it's fine. Right? This just gets you to the Buzzsaw Shark. That was actually kind of sick though, that he outed it. Yeah, so we can just go for another Crooked Crook. He's not gonna have another Underworld Goddess. If he does, he's the best player in the game. And back to, you know, the usual Crooked Crook. Okay. We're fine. We're okay. We're doing good. We're chilling. Does that work? I don't think it does. I don't think that works. Okay. I was pretty sure it didn't work. The funny thing here is that we might just deck him out. That's also like a possibility. So the deck kind of has like 3 different win conditions if we put in the final countdown. If we put in the final countdown, you have final countdown, Exodia, or deck out. I just hit my keyboard, by the way. So it does have like more than just summon, well, okay, it doesn't have more than just summon Crooked Crook, but it does have more than just Exodia. Now, little does he know that I'm going for Exodia. He might think I'm just like trying to draw into some dumb combo. This deck probably wouldn't ever be able to be successful in a tournament setting other than maybe like one tournament where it caught people off guard, because all it takes to beat this deck is to play one single kaiju in your deck, and then you can just like win every single time. Or honestly, you can play Underworld Goddess, and if your deck is able to OTK the opponent, you could also win that way as well. But I will say, in a vacuum, this combo is very toxic. I don't think it'll win a lot of matches, but I think it is good enough to win a lot of game ones, and then maybe like you can win the match after that. I don't really know. Probably not. I can see though that final countdown would be very good in our deck. I think what's funnier about this card though compared to Mystic Mine is that with Mystic Mine, you know, your opponent can't really do anything. You just play it and then they can't activate monster effects, which is obviously super toxic and super annoying. But with this one, it's really funny because they can do anything. They can activate all of their card effects. I'm not going to stop them. That's totally fine. But they can't out the Crooked Crook. So I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe play Mask of Restrict to shut off a kaiju. So this card only works if you control no other cards. So can't really do that. I think we are actually going to deck him out before winning with Exodia. This is the dumbest combo I've ever seen in my life. It is funny because like while playing this, I understand that it's not good enough to be competitive, and yet I can appreciate how stupid it is, you know? It does seem pretty consistent though. You have like a million starter cards to get to your combo. You have the 3 Buzzsaw Shark, you have the 1-for-1, you have just drawing Astral Karibo plus any level 4 monster, you have the map to search the Tunaful Princess, which gets you to the Buzzsaw Shark. Are there any monsters that help you get to Exodia when they're discarded? Can we find any? Does anyone know about cards that would help you get to Exodia if I discard them, or if I put them in the graveyard? Like, do any graveyard effects search Exodia? I mean, graveyard effects search Exodia, like Singin' Witch and whatever that Emissary of Darkness. No, that's not what that card's called. The one that searches like normal monsters. Anyway, those cards can search stuff. Oh, Emissary of the Afterlife. Okay. Gore's is Emissary of Darkness. This is so dumb. We should have like, I don't know, a crossword puzzle or something open, like another game for me to play while I'm waiting for this to go. I'm so sorry about this. I just feel like I have to apologize. He outed the lock, like that was pretty impressive. Maybe if he understood how consistent the lock was though, he would have waited until he actually had game. You know, like I felt like he outed the lock but then didn't OTK, and I don't play any ways to stop OTKs, so all he would have to do would be to like out the lock, then OTK. Oh my gosh, we drew that piece. He only has 1 card left in deck though. 4 pieces of Exodia in hand, but we can't win. That is so sad. Okay, draw the last Exodia piece off the top. That'd be so cool. Win by deck out and Exodia. Okay, well I'm gonna try. Because he's decking out anyway, so I can do this. Dang it. Yeah, we don't have a way to get to the last Exodia piece in the bottom 7 cards. Summon Exodia. Wait, look at it. It's like a floating head. Okay, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in this platform. The floating Exodia head with like his abs. Oh my gosh. Does that count as winning with Exodia if we normal summoned it? This deck is so dumb. This is so stupid. Okay, that's pretty good. This is full combo, by the way, but we'll Extravagance just to draw cards. Oh, 2 Exodia pieces already. That's pretty good. Okay, so Astral Karibo is a pretty cool card. I have to Instant Fusion first. Almost screwed that up, by the way. Astral Karibo reveals an Umber monster from your extra deck, special summons itself as the level of whatever rank that monster was, and then it gives the same protection as the right shark. So now it's the same combo, 2 different cards used to make the Crooked Crook, but it is basically the same idea here. And yeah, now we just pass. See, all the like dumb removal cards that people play They just don't work. Like Dark Ruler doesn't work, Forbidden Droplet doesn't work, even Mystic Mine doesn't really accomplish anything because luckily Exodia is not, I don't know if all of you know this, but it's not an activated effect. So if they Mystic Mine you, you are still able to Exodia. This deck is not competitively viable, but it is hilarious. Well, I guess he gave up. Oh, he was playing the Shiranui deck. Okay, this hand is pretty good. We already got 2 Exodia pieces. Nice. Must have not read the card. It's rough. I just feel like no one's gonna sit here and watch me Exodia them. Like, we know that it wins because people that scoop are telling me that they don't have an out to the card. So, like, if we kept playing, we would Exodia them. But are people gonna sit around and wait for the Exodia to happen? Probably not. I think we got pretty lucky with that first opponent, letting us deck them out for 30 turns. We did it. Good luck. See, that is like a really good card to play in this deck. A good suggestion by whoever said that. Or they could just be bored and not wait to draw that out. I feel like in an online platform, like if I played against this deck and I knew I had a Kaiju in my deck, or like Underworld Goddess, like I would make it a goal to like beat this dumb strategy. Maybe people don't have that kind of patience. But 100 bits, if every support given to Toons is like Toon Kingdom level of good, it will be a decent deck to play with. Thank you for the 100 bits. I don't know if Toon Kingdom is that good. That was kind of something that I didn't really know I was gonna say when I first started thinking about that video. But when I thought about Toon Kingdom more and more, I was like, this card just isn't that good. It's not really that crazy. It doesn't have any like +1 effect. It doesn't like pop any cards. It just gives your cards protection. Also, our opponent scooped again. See, we're never gonna Exodia people. They're just gonna scoop too fast. I can't do this to this guy. He doesn't even have an extra deck. Nah, man, you get the win. I'm not gonna do this to some guy without an extra deck.